Okay, this will be a very short lesson. We will answer this exam in almost 1 hour, 1 hour and 15 minutes. We will try to be highly strict للتايم يا ولاد بتاع الإكزام. This is one of the skills that we have to work on it. إنه أعرف إزاي manage my time in order to finish all of the questions in the assigned time. This paper is 0610 variant, paper 4 variant 3. I don't know if you have this paper in your in your past papers booklet or not, but anyways, if you don't have it, I will send the paper on the group in order to answer it with the marking scheme. The first question was in the mock. If you remember this question was in the mock where some students did some mistakes in labeling. The diagram showing a part of two organ systems that are active when a person sneezes. So we have two systems working together, and actually the two systems in front of us are the respiratory system and the nervous system. So we have both systems coordinates or regulate the function when you sneeze. واوريدي هو كاتب لي يا يحيى قايل لي ان ده الجاس exchange system and this system is the nervous system. Some letters موجودة عامل بيها label ل some structures. احنا all what we need is to understand ايه المين organs اللي in both systems. كتير منكم بص على الكويستشن ده وقال لي سير ازاي الام is the spinal cord. In the exam they thought انه this is a cylinder وايه علاقتها بالspinal cord. ما هو he's telling you ان this represents a part of the nervous system and definitely it's not the brain. يبقى ايه في nervous system احنا we talk either types of neurons and we have a type of neuron here, the relay neuron in the spinal cord or in the nervous system or the spinal cord itself. افتكروا كده يا ولاد بسرعه ايه الليبلز اللي احنا we need to know في النيرفس سيستم قبل ما نجو through الكويستشنز. نمبر 1 الريسبتورز. وقلنا الريسبتورز السيل اللي بتسنس انه there is a change either external. لو انا مسكت this mug ولقيته hot الريسبتورز هي اللي will be alerted وبتسند المسج through السنسوري نيورون. اتفقنا يا يحيى يا شادي ان السنسوري نيورون دوت هو اللي بيكون ايه has a lateral body. sensory neuron أول نيورون بنسند فيه المسج to the relay neuron inside the central nervous system. والريلاي نيورون هنا وظيفته إن هو يريجوليت ويكوردينيت البادي فانكشن. وقلت لك يا عبد الرحمن very important to use those words in the exam. أو الverbs دي دايما فاهم الاكزامينر ان انت you know much about الverbs اللي في البايو. انا I'm not express my answer in my English. Then الموتور نيورون which is L اللي بيسند المسج to the diaphragm which is in order to either contract or relax. طيب بالمره بقى نعرف البي والO. البي is the trachea وmaybe الcartilage. It depends on the question. It's not that clear. والO is either بقى lungs, alveoli. We will check the question. Let's go to the questions itself. The first question, sneezing is an automatic action that occurs in response to a stimulus in the nose. State the name of this type of automatic action. Could you please answer via chat box in order to participate all? بدل ما نقعد نسمعني أنا بس وأنا بجاوب, it's time to hear your answers or to check your answers. ايه البروسيس دي الاوتوماتيك اكشن ده called what? Perfect. Reflex action. Great job. Reflex action. Let's go to the next question. I'm checking all your answers يا ولاد. طيب this table was out of 5 marks where some of you left some spaces blank. However لو انا فهمت الدروينج table ده بالنسبه لي هيبقى perfect. The first space, cell that transmits an impulse from the receptor to the central nervous system. This is the real definition of a sensory neuron. I know well انه ممكن كتير منكم يفتح الماركينج سكيم ناو. احنا we know well ايه الاكزام اللي احنا بنعمله، بس انا مش عايز كده بليز. عايزك تعرف ايه المستيك اللي انت you could fall in the mistake دي عشان avoid it for the real exam او الفاينل exam. اوكي؟ فالسيل اللي بترانسميت الامبولس هي السنسوري وات ايفر بقى الليتر بتاع السنسوري نيورون من الدايجرام. I think it was letter خليني ابص عشان نتشيك برضو. It was J. Okay, this is the sensory neuron. Let's go to the next question. الdiaphragm, what is the function of الdiaphragm? أسهل حاجة ممكن أقولها يا أولاد في الفانكشن بتاعة الdiaphragm إنه how it either contracts or relax. عايز تقول بيتشينج الفوليوم in the lungs fine. عايز تقول بيتشينج البريشر في الثوركس area fine, because you know well in diaphragm that when it contracts we provide space for lungs to expand, فده increase the volume, at the same time it decreases the pressure. والopposite في expiration لأنه relax, فلما relax push على lungs to release carbon dioxide outside the body, والletter is N. For the next question, M is the spinal cord, ودي كانت المستيك. على فكرة يا ملك, if you wrote M as a central nervous system or CNS, you will take the mark. Okay? So M هي السباينال كورد. قلت لك يا يحيى احنا في السباينال كورد الفانكشن بتاعتنا بنقول ايه؟ Please use the verb coordinates, control, regulates, all of these will be accepted. Okay? طيب coordinates what? Regulates what? The body functions, the responses. طب what about K? K is يلا الشات بوكس. Perfect. K is a relay neuron. أرجوكم محدش يكتب لي نيورون ويimagine إنه خارج من exam خد المارك. No, it is a relay neuron. والانسر بتاعت الريلي نيورون في الفانكشن، الريلي نيورون بيعمل إيه يا ولاد؟ بيترانسميت الامبولسز أو بيكونكت النيورونز. بيترانسميت الامبولسز، بس لو أنا هقول transmit الامبولسز I have to mention يا ريم أنا بترانسميت الامبولسز to the motor neuron. بلاش اقول ان هو بيعمل اكشن لانه هو literally او physical wise بيترانسميت الامبولسز للموتور نيورون، والموتور نيورون هي اللي بتهلب الافكتور انه يتيك او انه يعمل الاكشن needed. The last one contains cilia to move the mucus out of the airway. التراكية. ممكن افكركم بسرعه كده انه في البارت ده احنا بنفتكر الجوبلت سيل اللي بتسكريت الميوكس، وانه الميوكس is a chemical substance act as a chemical barrier. هو عباره عن كربوهيدرات يا ملك act as a chemical barrier to take all of the to trap all of the dust particles and bacteria, taking it away by a ciliated epithelial cell. لو الكويستشن يا دان out of 4 marks انت you took ال 4 marks now. يبقى I have to talk about الجوبلت سيل، ان الجوبلت سيل اللي بتسكريت الميوكس، وبليز ما تقوليش بروديوس ارجوك يا عبد الرحمن، it secretes الميوكس. وبعدين نتكلم على الميوكس itself as a chemical barrier، ازاي هو بيتراب البكتيريا والدست بارتكلز وهاو it moves it away from التراكية by ciliated epithelial cell. احنا في وقت ممكن الكويستشن يلينك a lot of topics together. Please try to do this. Okay, to link in your mind a lot of topics together in order to catch a full mark of the question. Another question, وبرضو it was in the mock. On figure 1.2, label 2 visible cell structure. I can see more than 2. بس actually لو أنا student مش فاكر كتير يا شادي على النيورون والموديفيكيشن اللي happened in the neuron cell. We could say nucleus, we could say cytoplasm, we could label cell membrane. في كتير منكم forgot this question because there are no dotted line beneath the question. فبليز يا ولاد افتكروا كويس قوي ايه انه في questions ممكن تكون زي labeling او ان انا ابوت letter معين او draw letter معين على الدايجرام could be with no dotted line عشان ما تخرجش من الاكزام you lost mark for nothing. Yes يا ملك.
بس لو أنا ممكن أقول dendrites.
طبعا طبعا adaptations are fine، بس انا I'm telling you انه it's okay to mention the main parts of the cell لو انت مش عارفه. الدندرايتس is okay، الاكسون is okay، الcell body is okay، اي حاجه related للنيرف cell fine. But this is highly specific for a neuron. طب what if انا لا مش فاكره حاجه عن neurons. We can definitely mention anything that we talk about the cell itself.
Okay.
Draw an X on the cell that show where a receptor molecules for neurotransmitters would be found. You should draw X at any tip of the motor neuron. Okay. So what do you think? Here we have a receptor protein here on the postsynaptic. If this cell is the postsynaptic neuron, a receptor protein will be here. Please don't say a receptor protein will be on this side, because this is the end of the nerve, or we named it as nerve terminals or nerve endings. Okay. افتكروا كده يا يحيى شادي ان احنا when we mentioned a synapse or synaptic area, what we said that we have two neurons, and in between the two neurons we have a synaptic area. Okay. So first of all, النيورون اللي هو presynaptic neuron containing the cell membrane والvesicles اللي فيها neurotransmitters will fuse with the cell membrane in the synaptic area. In the postsynaptic neuron, we have receptor protein. We have receptor protein. It is like key and lock mechanism. All of the receptors protein will capture the neurotransmitters, will send it back to, or send it down through the cell body and through the axon. يبقى simply the receptor protein found على the starting point of the postsynaptic neuron مش في end. Okay? That's it. Explain how the cell in figure 1.2 is adapted for transmitting impulses. طب أنا I have adaptation. لما يقول لي يا عبد الرحمن adapted for transmitting impulses, I need to talk about what make the cell specific. What makes the cell specific to do this function? ايه الستراكشر اللي احنا ممكن نقوله هنا عشان يخلي السيل دي adapted for transmitting impulses? Number one, we can I can see a lot of answers here. Yes, Yakinda, by diffusion. Liane asking about the paper. This is October, November 2022, variant 3. Malak was answering, fine. Okay. This was your answer. Okay. So adaptation will happen for this neuron. It has long axon, and this is to transmit impulses. And it has dendrites. It has a lot of branch to connect the neurons to each other. We can say also, because عارفة يا ملك يا عماد هنا, he did not mention something visible. So we can say something you know about a nerve cell, such as what? A nerve cell that transmits ions, that transmit chemical substances, and this happened by active transport. So if you said, and you know well in the active transport requires energy. So if you said that we have more mitochondria, you will gain the mark, because the mitochondria هي اللي release energy in the cell. Fine. If you said that we have receptor protein, where receptor protein is highly specific for neurotransmitters, this will be perfect برضه. أنا شايف إن لو جالي الكويستشن ده out of 4 or 5 marks, we should take ال 4 or 5 marks. دايما خلي دماغي أوسع من التوتال mark of the question عشان أقدر أكتب كتير. Okay, let's go to the next question. Easy direct. Describe how nerve communication differs from hormonal communication. يلا تشيك الشات بوكس. انا ما شاء الله بلاقي 10 و 12 messages sent for each question. This is perfect. لما يجي لي question like this يا دان, I have to talk about either nerve communication or الهرمونال عشان نسيف time. محدش يجي يقول لي sir أنا I will write in the nerve is fast, however الهرمونال is slow. You will take 1 mark for this. So if you wrote in the nerve is fast, if you wrote it is a short lasting, if you wrote in the message will be transmitted by الnerve cells والchemicals اللي في الnerve cells, كل ده هيبقى صح. اوكي طيب do you اللي هي electrical messages, do you think that we could implement برضو انه النيرف او النيرفس nerve messages او المسجز will be transmitted are electrical messages, it will be perfect or not, uses neurons or central nervous system, it will be fine or not? All of these are perfect. اوكي وكده لو الكويستشن more than 3 marks, بس this question مش بيجي اكتر من 3 usually. اوكي this will be perfectly fine. Let's go to the next question. Now we have covered question 1. Imagine 14 marks. If you did something wrong or if you kept any question blank about this question or question 1 in this paper, I think now you realize what was your mistake. Question 2. Question 2 about the digestive systems and digestive enzymes. And the first question is, يا ولاد كتير منكم في الموك wrote enzymes in one of the 2 choices. هو if you read the question well, he gave you enzyme as example. So you need to write 2 other substances. So we can write, think about the digestive system quickly. You will find a lot of chemical substance in the process. Okay, yes, you can write. Adam mentioned HCl. Perfect. What else? Bile. Perfect. Imagine if you wrote water, it will be fine because all of the enzymes are hydrolytic enzymes. Hydrolytic, it means it works best in water. We cannot ignore it. It is a substance or not. يعني انتوا بس في دماغكم ان البايو is always hard. Let's go to double I. If you answer this table, I think all of you answered this table before in previous exams, this means that we're summing up everything related to enzymes. تعالوا عشان نسيف time, start with the first one. The name of the enzyme is amylase enzyme. The amylase enzymes working best in the mouth. And the product is maltose. We please for the O level now, write, or for the IGCSE course, I mean in year 10, write maltose for amylase because there is another enzyme called maltase enzyme. They convert the maltose to duodenum maltose to glucose. So it's fine to write the maltose for the first one. Pepsin. Please remember برضو يا يحيى إنه البيبسين is the enzyme responsible for breaking down the protein inside the stomach. We have to provide the acidic conditions, the HCl. However, we have another enzyme called the trypsin. Trypsin in the duodenum. Trypsin needs an alkaline medium. وبرضه break down the protein to amino acids. يبقى احنا we have 2 enzymes breaks down the protein. The first one is pepsin في الstomach, and the second one is trypsin. والtrypsin found في duodenum أو small intestine. البنكرياس بيريليز أو بيسكريت enzyme اللايبيز. بس البنكرياس احنا متفقين إن الفود مش بيباس through البنكرياس. So البنكرياس بيسكريت الانزيم لكن البروسيس itself بتاعت البريكنج داون happen في السمول intestine or الديودينم. بفكركم ان السمول intestine has 2 major parts. أول part after the stomach is the duodenum, and then the rest of convoluted part core helium. Okay? Let's go to طب just second يا ولاد. معلش يا ولاد I'm really sorry بس you know ان احنا we have science festival ففي شوية بس ترتيبات كده. Anyways يبقى ال small intestine has الduodenum and الإليوم. large intestine الcolon والrectum. الcolon والrectum. So الليبase we break down the fats into fatty acids and glycerol. Please remember الfatty acids والglycerol انه by time بننسى البرودكت او الاند برودكت اوف الليبيدز. ما تيجوا تقولوا لي كده التست بتاع الليبيدز نفتكره بالمره كان اسمه ايه في الشات بوكس. How could we test the lipids? Yes, accepted يا أسامة. Emulsion test. Emulsion test يا كندا. Emulsification is the process اللي happened in the small intestine by the action of bile. Okay, so it will form definitely the emulsification process. If you wrote it, it will be right, but the name of the test is emulsion test. That's great. Thank you so much, girls. Let's go to the point. The small intestine وإيه will be secreted from the epithelial lining of the small intestine maltase enzyme. Maltase enzyme. The maltase enzyme we work on the maltose sugar converting it into glucose وبكده خدنا 4 marks of the question. Let's go to question B. The activity of the enzyme pepsin was measured at different temperatures. بسرعة جدا في الإكزام if I have a graph, I take a look on the x-axis, the y-axis, would please don't spend that much time analyzing everything because you will describe the graph and you will take a deep look while answering the question. To save time, please we go to the question directly. The first question is, and wow, it is describe and explain. 6 marks question. And no problem at all if you wrote about the optimum. What's before the optimum? What's after the optimum? With the denaturation process, the enzyme substrate complex will form or not. The denaturation, the active site will no longer fit the substrate or not. And the point here at 60, it became 0 activity. This means that the enzyme was completely denatured. خلاص يا حبايبي احنا we took 6 marks. If you feel it is a great idea to split your answer into 3 marks for it describe or 3 marks for an explanation, I'm okay. It's perfectly fine. If you want to write both together, برضو perfectly fine, but please make sure that you wrote 6 points. So in this graph, if I asked you to describe first, I can say إنه the optimum temperature is what? For the enzyme activity question, I would go for an optimum temperature to be mentioned first. Then talk about everything before, everything after, خدت 3 marks بتاعت الدescription. And then explain. اتفقت معاكم في explanation. We have to mention the active site اللي بيخلي الانزيم highly specific for a particular substrate. We have to mention the enzyme substrate complex. We have to, this is for the IG very important يا أولاد أرجوك. We have to mention the denaturation process, how it starts to denature here. ما بقولش إنه it is completely denatured، أنا بقول starts to denature here and then when it reach ال 60 or يعني نقدر نقول ال 58 actually أو yes ال 58 we can say it completely denatured because there is no enzyme activity. اوكي خدنا كده الماركس. عايز اقول انه في الديناتيوريشن please remember ان active site will no longer fit. Question C. Lactase. الكويستشن ده بيقابلكم كلكم بتقولوا لي سير احنا we did not take anything about the young babies والenzymes بس think well. احنا we talk already انه naming of an enzyme starts with the prefix substrate then suffix or ending ase. So lactase is an enzyme works on lactose sugar. So why lactase is important? Young babies, some of them may suffering from lactose intolerance, cannot digest the lactose easily. So we can say إنه lactose اللي found in milk, it's not that easy to be broken down by lactase في young babies. So we need ان هم يجت الجلوكوز okay for respiration for energy and for all of these parts. Okay, so we can say in a young baby depends on lactose, so we need a lactase in order to break down the lactose into sugar. وبما انه 2 marks I will not write that much. Another question. Describe the symptoms of diarrhea. What are the symptoms of diarrhea? Loss of watery feces. It is 1 mark. Exactly. Loss of watery feces. It is 1 mark. Please ما تقعدش ترغي كتير. 1 mark only. Triple I. Cholera can also cause diarrhea. Explain how the cholera bacterium causes diarrhea. Question ده قلته لكم السيشن اللي فاتت و I told you please remember the question of the cholera. It is one of the standardized question with the standardized answer. Question like this الانسر بتاعته direct starts from the secretion of the toxin from the cholera, then how this toxin triggered the movement of chloride ion from the intestinal wall to the lumen. This creates a concentration gradient. What's after? على طول بعد الكلورايد تخرج الووتر by osmosis to the lumen, and this is cause the watery feces. So if I wrote this, I will take more than 3 marks. طبعا مفيش حاجة اسمها كده بس أنا I clarified everything related to this question. Okay, please remember this way لأنه أي question related للcholera و how cholera causes the diarrhea will need this answer. Okay, let's go كده. We have finished another question with 18 marks. Imagine 14 marks code already from question 1 and question 2 18 marks. أنا كده عديت الإكزام بس I'm not seeking for إن أعديه. أنا عايز أجيب الستار بتاعتي بسهولة. نكمل. Question 3 is giving you a bar chart or histogram showing you the estimated growth of the global human population between the 1860s and 2010s. It also shows the estimated number of people that were affected by famine between this. المجاعات يا ولاد. Okay? بس عشان ما حدش يستغرب ايه الكلمة دي. Okay? Affected. أنا في الإكزام يا ملك وما عرفتش ايه دي. أنا ما عنديش مشكلة. No problem. هم affected by something. خلاص أنا I will answer the question. مفيش حاجة اسمها إن أنا هسيب ال question because I did not know the meaning of this word. Let's go to the question. ببص بسرعة على الجراف وخدوا بالكم this is the estimated number of people affected per million. وhere we have the estimated global human population per billion. Okay? مديني الكي و I will go for the question. He wants you to state the final size of estimated global estimate. It means ان انا I will go for بيسألني على ال 2010. I will take the reading. I think it will be 7 point what? حد في الشات بوكس يقول لي 7 point what؟ Try to take the reading يا ولاد من الجراف. 7 point what؟ I can say 7.6 billion. So this is 7.6 billion, and that's what I will get. Let's go to the next question. He wants you to calculate the percentage of estimated global human population that was affected by famine during the 1860s. I don't have a problem. I will check the estimated global human population affected وأجيب البرسنتج بتاعتها. It is 2 marks. He wants your answer to one significant figure. أنا هجيب الريدنج divided by أو أجيب البرسنت بتاعتها و one significant figure. This means إنه it will be 0.3 I guess 0.3%. Okay, I will check the percentage, or I will calculate the percentage of the estimated global human population affected by the famine في 1860s. So هتcheck at 1860s. The reading was what? وهتcheck from the total. The percentage دي was at the A. وخلاص أنا I can get the percentage easily. Let's go to question B. An increase in the size of the human population can cause a famine. Describe other factors that could have caused a famine since 1970s. Any factor, ايه الفاكتورز اللي could cause reduction في الفود؟ Could be poverty, could be habitat destruction, could be any kind of, I can see some answers. Lack of habitat, could be diseases or spreading of infection. All of these will be fine. So we can write diseases, we can write flooding, we can write poverty, we can write any unequal distribution of food. With any answer based on scientific principles will be right. خلينا go for double I. Chemical fertilizers have helped farmers to increase the food production. عايز a negative impact on the natural environment of using chemicals other than fertilizers in modern farming methods. It is 4 marks. واحد امبارح قال لي sir it could lead للmutation. طبعا صح. ما الميوتيشن دي هتعمل لي loss of biodiversity. كده خد درجتين كان ذكي. خد 2 marks. طب what else؟ مش it could accumulate with this causal bioaccumulation. خد الثيرد mark. It might increase the pollution. دي الفورث. خدت الأربع درجات. فمش كل سؤال أبص عليه ألاقيه 3 4 or 5 marks. I imagine إنه it is a complicated question I will not get the full mark فيه. Okay. Eutrophication for excessive use يا عبد الرحمن other fertilizers. he's asking about using chemicals other than fertilizers. فأنت eutrophication related للfertilizers specifically nitrate ion. فمش هتماتش قوي التارجت بتاع الكويستشن ده. You got it? Triple I. Crops are often grown as monocultures. State what's meant by monoculture. يعني ايه monoculture؟ one mark. يعني ايه monoculture؟ فاكرين في in the class قلت لكم when we cultivate any kind of crop and when we collect it we cultivate same kind of crop again, same kind again, same kind for the third and fourth time. So this is the definition. Actually, this is the definition, is a single crop in production. ما بنعملش غيره. Question IV, scientists are developing crop plants that can produce antigens so that people gain immunity to different diseases such as hepatitis B. State the process which can be used to develop crop plants that can produce proteins from other species. What do you think? ايه النيم بتاع البروسيس اللي can be developed في الكروب plants to produce protein from other species? Is this genetic engineering? Is this genetic engineering? Genetic engineering or genetic modification? Bravo يا أسامة. Genetic engineering or genetic modification, this is perfect. Let's go to question 4. Question 4 is related to a plant response. So in front of us, response in plant be grow upward. So the response is phototropism or positive phototropism. Let's go to the next question. البلانت بيرسبوند الجروث response ده towards الsunlight وده اللي قايلهولي في الكويستشن. طيب التنديلين دوت keeps the plant upright without the need for structures such as the bones. ازاي بنكيب البلانتس upright? If this related للcell wall structure, if this related للturgidity, if this related للturgor pressure, what do you think? 2 marks. So we can talk about the cell wall structure وازاي البلانت الturgor pressure دوت بيpush على الcell wall upward. الturgidity exactly. Okay. So الزايلم طبعا one of the answers يا بودي perfect. لو هو قرر ان هو يتكلم على الزايلم ازاي سبورت وعنده الليجنين وال secondary thickening of الcell wall خلاص خدنا برضو ال 2 marks. In question B, I want you to draw a line and add a label on figure 4.2 to identify one area of xylem tissue و describe the function of the phloem tissue. عايزني draw a line عشان identify xylem. Please remember ان xylem is always inward في الstem والroot. However, الفانكشن بتاعت الفلويم ايه الفانكشن بتاعت الفلويم type؟ Could you please text me ايه الفانكشن of the phloem? Transport. بس there is another function. يلا I'm waiting for your answers. برافو يا آدم حبيبي. بس أنا I want another function. Do you think إنه play an important role? Yes, exactly يا ملك. This is called what بقى يا ملك يا زكريا؟ السورس والسينك called what?
Translocation.
Transport السكروز. Translocation. برافو يا مايا بس please mention السكروز والامينو acid instead of nutrients. Okay? Translocation is the second mark. So we can say transport the nutrients or transport السكروز. Nutrients صح يا مايا. I'm not saying it's wrong. بس أنا I want you to remember إن السكروز والامينو acid هم دول النيوترينز اللي أنا I'm talking about. السورس والسينك أو الترانسلوكيشن is perfect. Okay, please recap on the translocation if you want. Starting from tomorrow هرجع تاني اعمل لكم الفويس نوتس يا اولاد بقيه السيلبس انا مش ناسي عشان ما حدش يفتكر ان انا I sent 5 voice notes وخلاص. بس starting from tomorrow please يعني ادوني بس تايم نخلص بس الساينس فيستيفال وهبقى معاكم تاني بفوكس مع year 10 only. Yes يا ملك.
chemistry أو translocation واللي هو ال transporting nutrients. هو إيه ال third mark؟
هو ايه وات؟
ال third mark.
الثيرد مارك ان انت هتكلاريفاي الترانسبورت السكروز والترانسلوكيشن اتسلف وتشرحي الايديا بتاعت السورس والسينك. هو مش لازم الثيرد مارك تكون بوينت جديده يا ملك، ودي برضو حاجه لازم نفهمها. If you clarify the word translocation by writing the definition وايه السورس والسينك هتاخدي المارك.
أوكي.
اوكي، فمش شرط خالص ان انا عشان اكتب اخد ثيرد مارك لازم ادور واعصر دماغي على بوينت جديده. الاكسبلانيشن او الديسكربشن لون اوف ذا بوينتس هيديني مارك definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to question D. The Dandelion scape was cut into long ماشي straps for an osmosis investigation. Immediately after scape was cut, the pieces of scape bent outwards as shown in figure 4.3. ماشي، هي على طول بعد ما قطعها it bent upward بالشكل ده. وهو بيقول لك في الكويستشن يا يحيى انه ال inner part of scape can absorb or lose the water. However, the outer part cannot. يبقى أكيد I will touch الأيديا بتاعت الأوزموزس، I will touch الأيديا بتاعت losing الووتر أو gaining الووتر. خليني نجو for الكويستشن. مديني for dish contains different concentration of salt solution, different concentration of salt solution, وبيشو you the appearance of the four straps of escape after 30 minutes. ماشي، حلو جدا. ومديك كي بيقول لك what is the inner surface and what is the outer surface of the membrane. تعال نجو for information اللي already provided دي. We ask you to deduce and explain which strap of the escape was in the most concentrated solution. What do you think يا ولاد؟ أنهي واحدة كانت في most concentrated solution؟ أنا I can say، استناكم طيب تقولوا لي كده guess في الشات بوكس. Which one of the four؟ خدوا بالكم انه هو he is telling you انه الانر ولا الاوتر اللي بتقدر تابزورب الووتر؟ الانر، يعني هي اللي عندها البرميابيليتي، هي اللي considered as partially permeable membrane. طب when we go back to the appearance you will find what؟ أنا ما شفتش غير ملك بس اللي جاست. قولوا لي أنهي واحد يس يا عبد الرحمن؟ لا think well يا عبد الرحمن. The most concentrated. The most concentrated. أنت بتفكر صح. أنت بتفكر صح. بس is it C ولا B يا عبد الرحمن؟ ملك. Consider yourself عبد الرحمن أنت ومايا واسمعي الكلام. C ولا B؟ انتوا ماشيين في الدايركشن الصح، بس انا I'm asking about the most concentrated. هي هتروتيت more لانها هتلوز more water. فthe answer is B يا حبايبي. The answer is B. Okay, so the explanation. What is the explanation for this? I mentioned the explanation definitely. The degree of bending is really curved and or show greater degree or extremely high. مش زي C عبد الرحمن although C برضه في concentrated solution but this is the highest one. افتكروا كده يا يحيى يا شادي يا يحيى يا صالح بيقول لك in the most concentrated salt solution. So you should talk about how water will move from high water potential to low water, high water potential from the plant to low water potential outside by osmosis through partially permeable membrane. Question 5A. Could you please read the question with me first, and then we will go to the questions. Read the head with me. Yes, بس why يا ملك? You wrote in here it became flaccid. We lost water. You have to explain more about ده. انت يا ملك اللي دايما بتask me about الosmosis لازم يا عبد الرحمن mention high water potential low water potential. He wants to hear this in the answer. Could you please read the question quickly بس معايا؟ بعدين هنgo for read the head وبعدين هنgo for the questions. وبليز في الإكزام نعمل كده. Please نعمل كده. Because you will use this in the question. You will use the amount in the question. طيب, those are the results recorded كده على this graph. He is giving you the concentration of the chlorophyll with maximum water depth at which the Secchi discs is visible. وبعدين بيقول لك state the type of microorganisms they might contains. لا يا ملك بيقول لك organisms اللي فيها الكلوروفيل. What do you think? We can say definitely prototests. ومش هينفع هنا هقول plants. We should say prototests or algae. We cannot say plants here لأن plants مش microorganisms. Okay, let's go to the next question. In the next question, it is a kind of calculation. He's giving you a 5 decimeter cube or asking you to use the information to calculate the total mass of chlorophyll in the sample of day 1. I will go to the graph وهبص على الsample of day 1. هاخد reading of the sample at day 1 ولازم أركز يا يحيى إن أنا I'm checking the concentration of chlorophyll في right side. dotted line وفي right side. اوكي, هتشيك الريدنج هير وده for one day. طب وانا I have 5 decimeter cube. So هعمل ايه؟ 3 times 5. 15 exactly. 15. يبقى انا كل اللي عملته هتحسوا ان البروبلمز او الماث equations والماث calculations في البيولوجي is a bit hard. No, كل اللي عملته انت خدت الريدنج وعملتها times 5 اللي you collected طلعت 15 ملي جرام. اوكي, طيب please don't forget ان انا اكتب اليونت لان هو بيقول لي include the appropriate unit with your answer. Let's go to the next question. Suggest why the researchers determined the concentration of chlorophyll rather than counting the number of microorganisms in the sample. تفتكروا ليه هم they decided ان هم يكالكليت او يميجر الكونسنتريشن؟ انا I'm talking about microorganism. Is it easy بالنسبه للعقل كده ان انا اكاونت الاورجانيزمز اللي هي tiny او too small ولا chemical wise انا I can calculate الكونسنتريشن easily؟ انهي الاسهل؟ مش لازم ادور على something complicated at all. Okay, using the information in figure 5.3, identify the day when the water was the most transparent. بصوا كده يا ولاد معايا على الدايجرام. Most transparent. والله أنا شايف most transparent يعني لازم الماكسيمم ووتر دبث يكون إيه؟ يلا مستنيكوا تقولوا لي. ايوه يا ملك، انت فاهمه صح بس بتابلاي غلط. اوكي، انا هختار معاكم داي 8. طب ليه يا مستر داي 8؟ لانه at day 8 بصوا كده على الريدنجز يا ولاد. at day 8 انا I have الماكسيمم ووتر depth هنا and the concentration of chlorophyll is here. انا مش عايز concentration of chlorophyll high، انا مش عايزه high عشان اقدر اشوف اقدر اشوف الووتر. يبقى انا although انه الدبث not that high، لكن هو بيسالني most transparent، فانا مش لازم اتكلم على انا عايز ادور على least concentration. السكند فاكتور هيكون الدبث، بس انا عايز ادور على least concentration of الكلوروفيل. concentration هيزيد الووتر مش هتكون transparent. Explain why the transparency of the water is important for organisms that contain chlorophyll. تفتكروا ليه؟ ليه الترانسبيرنسي is important؟ عشان absorb ايه؟ to absorb more ايه؟ افتكروا الupper epidermis to be able to trap light. exactly. ماشي، بس this is one mark. لازم اقول عشان اللايت is necessary for photosynthesis. Okay. Question BI. State which ion can cause an increase in the number of organisms اللي بتcontain chlorophyll in the lake. I can say definitely either a nitrate because I'm talking about the number of organisms. Nitrate هيزود الجروث لأنه بيزود البروتين، or the idea of magnesium for الكلوروفيل. Many of the هنا بقى يا عبد الرحمن your question about the eutrophication. This question you should mention eutrophication. Magnesium صح طبعا يا ملك. Okay. Many of the organisms that contain chlorophyll died on day 2 of the investigation. Explain the consequences of the death of these organisms to lake ecosystems. What do you think? ايه consequences لو الorganisms ماتت؟ مش ده هيليد لليوتريفيكيشن؟ مش ده هي increase في decomposition؟ ولما يحصل decomposition ده معناه انه في organisms هترسبير aerobically، وده هي decrease the amount of oxygen في الليك. خلاص we got ال 3 marks. Question C. The researchers monitored the water in the lake for pollution. Outline how the sewage. لا خلاص يا ولاد ده مش علينا. This is a diatom ski. لما هبعت لكم الإكزام you could answer this. وبليز بس remember إنه عشان بس يبقى قدامي ال 2 pages. Please remember أبوس إيديكم follow الرولز بتاعت الدايكتوم سكي from the beginning. بلاش اخش على النص كده يا يحيى يا شادي واحاول اطلع الكاركترستيك لانه you will answer this wrong. I have to follow التابل. I have two petals visible هجو ل 2. If I have one stigma per flower هجو ل 3 وهتشيك وهكلاسيفاي الأورجانيزم. If I have more than one stigma per flower النيم بتاع الأورجانيزم دايركت هيكون here. طيب هو قال لي أجو to 4 لو أنا عندي 3 petals visible. لو 2 ovule visible هجو ل 5. If I have more than 2 ovules visible أشوف الأورجانيزم وأكتب اللتر بتاعه. يبقى هيبقى أسهل dichotomous key في الدنيا لو أنا I followed من الأول ال traits و I will catch ال 4 marks easily. Let's go to double I. تهيألي double I يحيى صالح ممكن يجاوبها لي بسرعة. عايز 4 structural adaptation للإنسكت pollinated flower. الفلاور اللي pollinated بالإنسكتس إيه الكاركترستكس بتاعتها يا يحيى؟
هو أنا ولا يحيى التاني؟
لا أنت يا يحيى يا حبيبي.
ماشي. ستيكي ستيجما
مم.
صح؟
اللي تقوله صح يا يحيى أنا أغير البايو عشانك حبيبي. صح طبعا. ماشي what else؟
ونكتر
وطبعا ال presence of النكتر. البيتلز بتاعتها
بتكون
بتكون مالها؟ لارج ولا سمول؟
كولر
بتكون colored وبتكون
بتكون
large
فيها
وعلى
ألوان.
فكرة دول يدوك 2 points. Thank you.
مم.
يلا نكمل. الفلاورنج بلانتس بليز ممكن واحنا بنذاكر نفتكر ان احنا البلانتس برضه ليه كلاسيفيكيشن يا كندا فلاورنج ونون فلاورنج والفلاورنج ده مونوكوت ودايكوت. بليز ريكاب اون ذس بارت وده اللي قايله لكم في الفويس مسج بتاعت الكلاسيفيكيشن. دان ممكن تقولي لي one other morphological feature that can be used to distinguish the flowering plants من الفيرنز؟ هو قال لك ان الفلاور plants produce a flower. What else?
I'm not sure, but is it that flowering plants reproduce using seeds?
برافو. Perfect. Perfect.
How is this morphological though?
Fine بس ما هو السيدز هي already بتproduce seeds وهو he did not mention. Okay ان هي بتproduce السيد فانت producing seeds one of the part. عايزه تقولي something morphological وتبقي في السيف سايد ومطمني you can mention البولين. You can mention الأوفيول. You can mention the leaves itself لأنه lower part of the leaf في الferns has spores.
Yeah, okay.
All of these are okay لو أنت عايزة تبقي في السيف سايد وتبقي مرتاحة بس what you mentioned about the seeds is fine.
Okay.
Question C ملك عماد. Remember كده النيم بتاع البروتين.
It was pectinase.
Pectinase الانزيم. البكتين is the chemical substance we need to break it down. So البكتينيز هو الانزيم اللي we are using. Okay? We have covered the exam in 1 hour. So if you did the same, if you use same technique, maybe you will use more 5 minutes, more 7 minutes in answering the questions. You will have still 10 minutes or 7 minutes to revise on any question you need to revise on it. That's great. Next session will be, I think next week, because Wednesday, or we might organize a session over the weekend. I will check with you the suitable time because I know some of you has ICT exam or some of you has, I think, French or something. خلينا manage the time بس please encourage yourself ان انت تحضر at least check the answering of the exams. As usual, I'm trying to use variant 3 in our online sessions because you have in your past papers pack variant 1 or variant 2 فat least تشوف style من ال questions definitely. Okay? Thank you so much يا ولاد، وهمانج معاكم على الجروب التايم of the next lesson. Bye. Thank you يا إيد.